Hello everyone, in this tutorial I am going to show you how to register a user using PHP MySql, and I am going to show you everything step by step from the very beginning. So first of all, we are going to create a registration form, and what we will do is that when we click on this register option, it will take us to the registration form. So for it, let's go back to our code, and here you can see that we have a project here, and inside this project, I'm going to create a folder. So for it, I'll click on this folder, then click on new folder, and the folder name will be home. And in this home folder, I'm going to create a PHP file called register.php. So I'll just right click on home, then click on new file, and the file name will be register.php. Ctrl S and then save. So here, let me just say simple HTML, and in the body, I'm going to mention the h2 tag. Let's say here, register page. And right now, what we want is that when we click on this register page, it will take us to this page. So for it, let me just go to index.php, and here you can see we have the anchor tag for register. So here in this href, we're going to mention this home folder. So we'll say here home, then slash, and our file name is register.php. So we'll say here register.php. So save it. Then if we now refresh here and click on register, there you can see it took us to register page. So here we are going to create a registration form. So let's go back to the register.php, and here first of all we are going to mention a div. Then in this div, we're going to have a form. So we'll say here form, and in this form, let's mention another div. Inside this, we'll say level will be name. And for this level name, we're going to have an input field. So the input type will be text, and the name will be name. So here you can see we mention a div. So for this div, we're going to mention a class. Let's say class name will be input underscore design. I'll just say DEG. So right now I'm going to copy this div and I'll paste it 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for the second one, I'm going to say here email. The level name and the type will be email. And for this one, it will be phone number, let's say. So let me just select those two, and I'm going to say here phone. And there you can see the type. So type will be, for phone, it will be number. After that, this one will be address. Let's just say here address. Name will be address. And the type will be text. That's fine. So this one will be the submit button. So we are going to say here input type. It will be submit. Name will be, let's say, register. And it will have a value, and the value will be register. If we now save this, then refresh, there you can see we have name, email, phone, address, and the register button. So we're going to make some design for this. So let's go back, and here we mention the class input underscore DEG. So we're going to write some CSS for this. So first of all, we're going to connect our style.css, and here you can see currently we are in the home folder. And inside home folder, we have the register.php. So we're going to say here link. And since our style.css is outside the home folder, so we need to give double dot, then slash, then we need to mention style.css. Since our style.css is not inside the home folder, that's why we are writing it this way. So once you write this, it means we are connected with our style.css. And in the style.css, we're going to write some design for this input underscore DG. So let's go to our style.css, and let me just directly go down. Here I'll say dot input underscore DG. So here first let's add padding. Let's say padding will be 10 px. So padding will create some space among those input field. If we now refresh, there you can see there is some space right now. So we're going to add a background color for this register field, and we will also keep it in the center. So let's go back, and here you can see we mention a div. So inside this div we mention a class. Let's the class name will be my underscore form. So we write some CSS for this. So we'll go to our style.css and we're going to say here dot my form underscore form. Let's say the background color will be sky blue. Let me just show you. If you now save it, then refresh here, there you can see background color is sky blue. So right now let's go and mention a width for the background. Let's say width will be 60%. So we say here width, it will be 60%. If we now save it, then refresh, there you can see width is now 60%. So let's have it in the center. So for it, we're going to say margin, it will be auto. Then we'll say here text align, it will be center. And we'll add one more thing, that is margin top. Not left, margin top. Let's say it will be 200 px. So margin top will keep our box over here. So if you now refresh, there you can see it is over here. So right now let's go and have a title here, that register form. So for it, let's go to our register.php, and here after this div, let me mention the h2 tag, and here we are going to say register form. If we now save this, then refresh, there you can see you have register form. So let's add a simple design for this. For it, here you can see this h2 tag is inside my underscore form. So we are going to say here dot my underscore form, then mention the h2 tag to second bracket. Let's say the background color will be black and the text color will be white. Okay, let me just also add a padding here. Padding will be 10 px. Let's go back to our browser, refresh, and there you go. So let's have some space among the input field and the label. So for it, here you can see that the label is inside our input underscore deg class. So we are going to say here dot input underscore deg, and our tag name is label. So we'll say here width, it will be 100 px, and we'll say one more thing, and that is display, it will be inline block. If we now save it, then refresh, there you can see it moved a little bit. So let's make our input field a little bit bigger and responsive. So for it, here you can see the input type is text here, input type is email here, and input type number here. So we are going to write some CSS for those input field. And for it, we need to say here input, then to third bracket. Inside this, we'll say here type equal to, this one will be text. Then we'll give a comma here. Let me just copy this and paste it here. This one will be email and this one will be number. So we are going to write some CSS for those three type of input fields. So we'll give to second bracket here, and we are going to say here width, it will be 40%. Make sure that it's less than this width, which is 60%. So we'll just say here 40%. If we now save it, refresh, it will look like this. So let's do a little bit more design, and that is we're going to say here padding. Let's say padding will be 12 px. We'll say here resize, it will be vertical, and let's also say here box sizing, it will be border box. If we now save this, then refresh here, there you can see it looks better. So right now let's make some design for this register button. For it, let's go back, and here you can see that for the register button, the type is submit. So we are going to say here input, then to third bracket, we'll set type equal to submit. Then we'll give to second bracket. We'll say, let's say the button background color will be dark blue and the text color will be white. Let's also add a padding 10 px and border radius. It will make the button a little round 10%. If we now save it, then refresh, then okay, that design didn't apply. Okay, there is a space here. We cannot keep any space here. You need to write it like this. Save it again, refresh, and there you go. And this is also responsive as well. Let me just show you. If I just right click and click on inspect and make it smaller. There you can see it is responsive as well. So right now what we on is that when we give some data here and then click on the submit button, or the register button, it will upload some data to a table. So for it, first of all, what we need to do is that we need to create a database. So just go to your PHP MyAdmin, just go to this link or go to this address, then you'll be able to go to PHP MyAdmin. After coming to the PHP MyAdmin, then you need to click here, new option. So right now we are going to create a database. Let's say our database will be php_ecom. So this will be our database name, php_ecom. So right now I'll click on create, and there you can see it created a database, and we need to upload those data in a table, and we need to create that table in this database PHP ecom. So just click on PHP ecom. After that, here you can see table name. So our table name will be user. Let's say users, and you need to mention how many columns this table will have. Let's say this table will have 1, 2, 3, 4 ID and the user type, total 6 columns. So we are going to say here 6. Then click on create. So there you can see we have 6 columns, and if you want to add more column, here you can see you just need to write a number and click on go. It will add more column here. So the first one, it will be ID, and the ID will be integer. Let's say the length will be 50, and we'll make the ID as primary key. So in order to make the ID primary key, what you need to do is that you just need to go a little at the right side, and here you can see AI. AI means auto increment. We just need to click on it, and the ID will become primary key. So after this, we are going to say here name. The name will be Parker. Let's say length will be 15. Then we'll say here email. We'll again say here Parker. Length will be 50. This one will be password. And I forgot to add password here. So we'll add a password field here. So it will be Parker type. Length 15. And here this one will be phone. We're going to say here Parker, let's say 50. This one will be address. Let's say Parker as well. Length will be 50. And I want to add one more field here. So I'll just here say add on, then click go. There you can see it created one more field here. So we are going to say here user type. And user type will be Parker, let's say 50 as well. So here you can see we have null option here. So if you check this, it means user will be able to upload null data for that specific field. So we'll just keep it the way it is. And right now we'll just go down, and here you can see we have the save option. So click on save, and there you go. We have created a table called users. If we click on our table, users table, you can see ID, name, email, password, phone, address, and user type field here. So let me just add here one more field that will be called password. For it, let's go back. Let's go to register.php. Let me just copy this and paste it here. And we're going to say here input label will be password, and the type will be password. The name will be, let's say, password. And I'm going to go to our style.css, and here I'm going to add one more type, and that will be password. Type equal to password. Let's save it. Let me refresh, and there you can see we have one more input field for password. And I think the font size should be a little bit bigger. So for the level, let's say here font size, it will be 16 px. So right now the first thing we need to do is that we need to connect our register.php with our database. So for it, we'll go at the top of our register.php, and here we'll give the PHP opening tag, then the PHP closing tag. And inside it, we're going to connect our database. So for it, we need to declare a variable. Let's say $con equal to, we need to say MySqli underscore connect. And inside it, first of all, we'll give two double quotation, and we need to say here local host, because this database, whatever you are seeing, is called local host. So we'll say here local host, then we'll give a comma here, then again double quotation, and here we're going to set root, because by default the database name is root and the password is null. So we'll give two double quotation and we'll keep it empty. After that, again we'll give two double quotation, and here we're going to give our database name. So here you can see that our database name is PHP underscore ecom. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. So once you give this properly, it means you are connected to the database. And if you want to check it, you just need to give a if condition. If $con, you can say here echo database is connected. So if you now save this, and if you now refresh here, there you can see it says database is connected. But if you just change the database name from PHP underscore ecom to PHP ecom 123, then save it, this database do not exist. So we'll get an error. Let me just show you. If we now refresh, it will give us an error. And the error is unknown database PHP ecom 123. And we do not need to give this if condition, because if our database is connected, that's fine. We don't need to show it to the user. So we say here PHP underscore ecom. Let me just fix the error here first. Refresh, and there you go. So right now we are connected to the database, and in the database we have this table called user. So in this user table, we want to upload some data from this register form. So for it, what you need to do is that here you can see we mentioned here form. So in the form we say here action, then we say here method. So the method will be post, and we keep this action empty because we are going to write the PHP code in order to upload those data to the database table in the same phase in register.php. So here we are going to say a if condition, if to first bracket, then we'll say here is set $_ post, then to third bracket and to single quotation like this, and make sure that you keep the post in capital letter. You must write this in capital letter, and here you can see to single quotation. So inside this, what we are going to do is that we are going to check if someone click on this register button. So here you can see we have this input type submit, and here you can see name equal to register. So I'm going to copy this and paste this here. After that, we'll give to second bracket. So here what we are doing is that we are checking if someone click on the register button or not. If someone click on the register button, then we are going to get those input field data in a variable. So here I'm going to declare a variable. So in order to declare variable, we need to say here $. Let's say $name equal to, we'll say $_ post to third bracket to single quotation, and here inside this to single quotation we need to get the input from this input field, and here you can see name equal to name. So we are going to copy this and paste it here. So just like name, we can get the email, phone, address and password as well. So I can just copy this and paste it here a few times. So after name we have the email. Let's say here, okay, if you are confused, let me just give a different variable here. So let's say user underscore email. Let's also say here user underscore name. So here you can see user underscore email equal to $_ post, and stop name we are going to say here you can see name equal to email. So we are going to mention this email here. So after email we are going to say here address. Let's say here u underscore address, and here let me just show you all the name. Here you can see address name is address, phone name is phone, and the password name is password. So I'm just going to say here it will be, let's say, phone, u underscore phone, it will be here phone. After that, we have password, let's say here u underscore, let's only say pass, and the name is password. So we are getting the input field data and we are storing this in a variable. So let me just tell you again, those are variable that you declare. You can give it any name you want, but here you can see those will come from the input field and you must give the input field whatever name you gave for those input field. Okay. So right now we have all the input field data. Now we need to write a SQL query to upload those to the database table. For it, we are going to declare another variable, let's say $SQL equal to, we'll give to double quotation, then we'll say here insert into our table name, which is users. Let me just show you, just for you to be sure. Here you can see users, and we need to write it exactly over here. There is a S, that's why we write here users. Then we'll give to first bracket, and here we are going to get the name from the database. Here you can see name, email, password, phone, and address. So we are going to type those here. So we say here name, comma, after name. You can follow any sequence if you want, but it's better if we follow one by one. Name, email, password, phone, address. So we are going to say name, email, comma, password, comma, phone, comma, address. And we have one more input field, which is user type. So I am going to say here comma user type. After that, here I am going to say values, then to first bracket, indeed with a semicolon. So here inside this first bracket we are going to keep two single quotation, and here you can see our first is name. So I am going to copy the variable name from here, which is $u underscore name, and I'll paste it here. After that, I'll give a comma here, again two single quotation, and after name we have the email. So I'm going to copy this u underscore email and paste it here. So after email we have the password. So I'm going to give a comma here, then two single quotation, and here you can see the variable for password. We keep the password in this variable, so we'll copy this and paste it here, and make sure that you follow this sequence. Okay, so after password we write here phone. So we'll give a comma to single quotation, and here you can see u underscore phone, paste it here, give another comma. Right now we have the address, so I'm going to say here, let me just copy this and I'll say here address. And the last one is user type, and we're going to add a by default value for the user type. So let me just declare a variable, let's say $user type, and the value for the user type will be user. And I'm going to mention this user type after address, because after address we have user type. So we give two single quotation and we'll say here user type. So we write the query to upload the data to the table. So right now we need to execute this. So in order to execute this, we are going to declare another variable, let's say $data equal to MySQLi underscore query, then to first bracket, and first of all we need to mention this variable where we connect this space to the database. So we'll mention this $con here, then give a comma, and we'll mention this $SQL here where I insert data to the table. And once you write this, it means we are about to successfully upload the data to the table. Let me just give a if condition. We'll check if $data, if upload is successful, we are going to show a message echo upload success, or let's say here register success, that will be better. Let's say register. So let's just set this, and here if we now refresh and let's give a name, let's say name will be test, email will be test@gmail.com, Let's give a random phone number, random address, and the password 12345678. Then click on register, and there you can see it says at the top register success. So if we just go to our database table, here you can see user table, and if we just refresh here, there you can see we have a data name equal to test, email is test@gmail.com, password we are able to see it, there is phone number, address, and the user type is user. So this is how you can make a registration system in PHP. I hope this tutorial was useful to you. If you have any question or any suggestion, just let me know in the comment section. In the next tutorial, I am going to show you how to make multi-user login system in PHP. It means if a user login, it will take the user to a different dashboard, and if a admin login, it will take the admin to another dashboard. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the future tutorials.